The cycler rifle has made its way back into Star Wars Battlefront 2, a classic Star Wars Battlefront weapon first appearing in 2015's Battlefront, and the cycler rifle can be commonly seen in the hands of Tusken Raiders. They're the traditional owners of this weapon, walking around in the desert and shooting at pod racers with cycler rifles. It's the Tusken Raider way of life. The cycler rifle has to be one of my all-time favorite weapons in any video game, let alone in a Battlefront game. However, something's changed about this weapon now that it's been brought to Battlefront 2 that's given it a completely different feel, and I'm not sure that's a good thing. Hey everyone, it's Andrew, and I want to talk about what made the old cycler rifle so amazing, and how this new version brings back some old Battlefront nostalgia, but also moves away from the weapon's roots. And this is also going to be a guide on how to use the new cycler rifle, what attachments you need to make it better, and how you can enhance it using a certain loadout. Battlefront 2015's cycler rifle was one of the most powerful weapons in the game, and it wasn't a primary weapon, instead a star card you could use to build your own class. If you don't remember, 2015's Battlefront didn't have classes like Battlefront 2, and instead just had a bunch of different weapons and gadgets in the form of star cards, which you could use to build your own class. Cool idea, didn't really stick. Class system works much better. So the cycler rifle was one of these selectable star cards. My friend the Warlock, who some of you may also know as Ben from the old gameplay videos, remember, made a few sniper montages back in the day. Lots of fun to watch. Find them really just like mesmerizing. And that's where most of this footage is from, because obviously I was never good enough to do stuff like this. The classic cycler rifle loadout was the cycler rifle jump pack combination, where you jump into the air, take out the cycler, line up your enemy, and take them out. At short range, if your aim was good enough, you could also use the cycler rifle kind of like a shotgun. At this distance, a direct hit would deal 100 damage, killing the enemy, but anywhere further than 10 meters dealt 90 damage, so you'd have to get a headshot to get the kill, or the enemy would already have to be injured for you to get the kill. And after you fired the cycler, because it was a star card, it'd take 15 seconds to recharge before you could take it out and use it again. And it's important to note that the cycler rifle is not a blaster. It's an old-fashioned kind of gun that fires projectiles. After all, the Tusken Raiders are the ones who use this weapon. They don't seem like blaster kind of people, you know? They're not very high-tech. Living in the desert, riding banthas, asking for binoculars off bounty hunters.
What? Hey, what?
This is the life of a Tusken Raider, shooting at kids in pod races, you know, high moral standards in the life of a Raider. This is what they do on a daily basis, shooting at kids in pod races. Now, why the Battlefront 2 cycler rifle is so different is because it doesn't work like the Battlefront 1 cycler rifle at all. It's completely different. But first up, one thing I'm so happy about is the sound of the cycler rifle. It's very similar to the sound in Battlefront 1. Not exactly the same, a bit less echo than the old sound, but still enough to be very satisfying, like the rifle saying to you, hey, listen up, I'm firing now, this is what I'm doing. That's what the rifle sound says. And it does feel like a projectile weapon as opposed to a blaster. I got a little worried in the community update trailer. For some reason it sounded closer to a blaster, but
cycler rifle. All weapons will be customizable.
Nevertheless, DICE did not disappoint with their sound design. If there's one thing I can say about all EA games I've played, especially DICE games, it's that they have incredible sound. Just listen to that. So the Battlefront 2 cycler rifle is a primary weapon, not an attachment or gadget or star card or anything else. It's a primary that can only be selected for use by the scout class. The cycler rifle wielding scout trooper is the classic combo in my opinion. Imperial scout trooper using weapon of choice of sand nomads who shoot at kids in pod races. It makes sense. But this means the other classic combo of using a sniper rifle such as the DLT-19X alongside the cycler rifle isn't possible in Battlefront 2. This is one of the more challenging combination of weapons that could go hand in hand in Battlefront 1, but if in the right hands, well, you can see the result. And once again, this is not my footage because there is no way I was capable of handling this loadout. I wasn't good enough, didn't have the aim for it, didn't have the fast enough twitch on the sticks, on the controller. So how does the cycler rifle work in Battlefront 2? Well, it fires 3 shots before overheating, and each shot is nowhere near as powerful as the old cycler cycler rifle. Even a shot to the head might not kill an enemy, depending on what class you're shooting at and how much health they have. Generally, I found it to be 2 to 3 shots for a kill, 2 shots if both of them are clean, but if you're shooting at a heavy or a reinforcement, it might take even more, sometimes 4 or 5 shots. And let's be honest, that's not great for a sniper that was basically a one-shot kill in the last game to taking 4 to 5 shots to kill a heavy. You need to let the blaster cool down in between shots. It's not practical, and partly why you don't see too many people using the scout class. It's too hard to use. You don't get enough clean kills. It's hard to finish kills. Now, obviously, there's no more 15-second cooldown because the cycler rifle is a primary weapon, but cooldown does still take a second or two after you fire your 3 shots, which feels like forever if you missed a shot and want to finish off an enemy. You can actually fire all 3 shots off quite quickly, but this will create a massive recoil on the rifle. But sometimes I've found firing 2 in a row could be great for finishing off an enemy that's kind of close quarters. Kind of goes bang bang really quickly in succession. But for you to improve the cycler rifle and make it more playable, you need to unlock the second weapon mod, which is reduced recoil. You can see here it makes a significant difference to the weapon's accuracy, and it's going to allow you to fire those 1, 2, 3 shots off with much more control. Now, one thing that made the 2015 Battlefront cycler rifle so unique and powerful was its ability to shoot through shields. This made it great for taking out those scaredy cat bubble boys, and you could even fire it through the larger squad shields to take out an enemy on the other side, which is really satisfying, especially when they think they're safe. Then you pop them with the cycler. They might have been, dancing around doing emotes, they're in the shield, and then you just pop them. Now, Battlefront 2's cycler rifle can't do this. You can't shoot through shields. From what I've tested and from what I've seen online floating around the interwebs on YouTube, it can't shoot through shields at all, which sucks. This is one of the things that made the old one so unique. Part of the reason you had it in your loadout, to take out annoying bubble boy cowards. And yes, personal shields are less common in Battlefront 2 because so few people play the scout class, but it's part of the weapon's DNA. Because if it can't go through shields, this makes it a blaster, not a projectile rifle. It sounds the same, so still feels like a projectile weapon, but if it can't shoot through a shield, my whole universe might have just been turned upside down. And yes, if the cycler could shoot through shields in Battlefront 2, it would be the only primary weapon to do so, which messes with balancing, that whole side of things, so maybe DICE just decided to take the safe route and make it another sniper weapon with the cycler rifle's look and sound. Don't lie to me, is it the cycler rifle or not? I can't tell, because it can't shoot through shields. I'm actually disappointed it doesn't do more damage though. The NT242 is still the most powerful sniper rifle in the game, which I'm still yet to unlock, even though I've been playing the game for over 2 years. DICE, please! The Tusken Raiders are obviously the best snipers in the galaxy because of their cycler rifles. If they can destroy pod races, they should be able to shoot through shields. Okay, so the cycler rifle in Battlefront 2 also has 3 unlockable weapon mods, which you can attach in the menu. Dual Zoom gives it a macro scope, which allows you to toggle between 2 levels of magnification when aimed in. Reduced recoil adds a barrel extension that absorbs the rifle's recoil, so when you shoot it quickly multiple times in a row, it won't jump up as much. Like I said earlier, you really need to unlock this if you want to have a good crack at using the cycler rifle. It dramatically improves the weapon's accuracy and gives you more control. And improved cooling adds a valve system that reduces the time before the blaster cools down. Now, this one's a little confusing and it took me a while to figure out what this actually means. Okay, I'm lying, I didn't actually figure it out myself. My friend told me what it did. From what we can tell, after each shot you fire, if you don't fire all 3 shots in a row, the weapon cools down faster itself than it normally would. And when using the cycler, I'd really recommend aiming for the yellow cooldown bar, as it's going to allow you to fire the weapon for longer. You'll be able to get more shots off than the 3 shots in a row before it needs another cooldown. It's very useful waiting for that few extra seconds to get the yellow cooldown. Also, these weapon mods will show cosmetically on the weapon. For example, the dual zoom adds a larger scope on the weapon. Now, I'd show you what they look like, but I haven't unlocked the mods yet because I haven't got enough kills, so I had to use my friend's footage. That's what this is. I would have unlocked them, but my 139,000 credits are now useless now that I have the Celebration Edition, and all the new weapon stuff in this update needs to be unlocked by racking up kills and actually playing the game, instead of just buying them with my credits. I guess these will just sit here now until forever. Wish I could cash them in for real money. That would make me $139,709 richer than I am now. But there's also probably an exchange rate from Republic credits to Australian dollars. And based on the way the economy's been going, I'd be much, much richer after the conversion. That's right, folks. For the first time ever in all 500 and something bombastic videos, I just talked about economics. I'm not really a numbers man, don't really do math. So I'd like to go over some general tips on how to use the Battlefront 2 cycle rifle and what loadout to take with it to give you the best possible chance of standing a chance against regular enemies. First up, I think the cycle rifle definitely needs a damage buff. Just needs to do a little extra to make it competitive. Most of the Battlefront 2 maps are mid to close quarters focused and feel quite different to Battlefront 1's more open, wider maps, which is partly why using a sniper is more difficult and why they've increased the rate of fire for the cycle rifle for this game. So you can get more shots off of the weapon in close quarters combat, but it still needs a damage buff. So based on our experience, the cycle rifle works great with the Stinger pistol. You can use the Stinger pistol to quickly damage the enemy, which also deals damage over time with its poison effect, then quickly switch the cycler to finish them off. The little bit of extra damage dealt by the Stinger pistol ends up making a significant difference. On the other side, you want to have the personal shield. Yes, you've become the very thing you swore to destroy, but if you run out of shots and get caught in the line of fire, this is what's going to save you. Also, I'd recommend having the expert weapons handling perk applied. This increases the duration of your cooldown success states, so if you hit the blue or yellow bar when cooling down, you'll be able to fire off more shots before the weapon needs another cooldown. I'm pretty sure that's what it does anyway. The cycler rifle is all about timing the cooldown right. A true sniper never wastes their shots. If you need practice testing the cycler rifle with this loadout, I'd recommend trying a few games of co-op before you play online against other human players. Fighting bots is a little bit easier, and there's plenty of them to shoot in co-op, so give this a go to get some practice. Do that, use the yellow cooldown zone, and don't be afraid to hip fire. The weapon has the same accuracy at hip fire as it does aim down sight, so if you're in a more of a close range battle, just pretend you're using a shotgun and it'll have the same effect, if your aim is good though. Overall, a very different weapon and setup from Battlefront 1, but it is still the cycler rifle. I'm so glad they brought this back to Battlefront. So, which version of the cycler rifle do you prefer? And are you happy they brought it back to Battlefront? Let me know in the comments. I think you know where I stand on this. And what weapon would you love to see come to Battlefront 2 next? Also, if you want to watch those cycler rifle montages with the music and everything, go to the Warlocks channel. They have some fun, exciting music to go with them. I get mesmerized every time I watch them. Probably in awe of skills I'll never have. And go watch my Darth Maul documentary, the one I keep mentioning about the cancelled Darth Maul game. Go watch it. And follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Discord for more bombastic, more of me, and Star Wars and other stuff. Alright, I should go. Thanks for watching this. My name's Andrew. I'll catch you soon.
Stay bombastic.